أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا بالقاسم محمد وعلى إترة الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you for joining us again on Real Talk. Today's guest is Nasrin Nurmohamed. Assalamu alaikum, Nasrin.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. And yourself?
Alhamdulillah, thank you. I'm going to ask you just to start to just introduce yourself a little bit, and then as you're talking, I'll ask you a few questions if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so do you want to just start, please?
Yes, sure. Thank you so much for this opportunity to enlighten you all today about my ongoing illness. Kindly bear with me. I have prepared notes so that I should not forget the key points to address this evening. For all those who don't know me, I'm Nasrin Nurmohamed, and I am a member of Hujjat Community Mosque in Stanmore. I was born in Kenya, and my dad passed away when I was only 13 years old.
So Nasrin, can I just stop you there for a minute? Is that okay if I keep stopping you, yeah?
Yes, that's fine.
Brilliant. So just want to ask you, so you said you were 10 years old when your father passed away. How did you cope with the loss of your father at such a young age?
Actually, we were a very small family. The loss of my dad made our relationship with my mom and the siblings even more closer. And we still continue to support each other, alhamdulillah.
So it was just being there for each other, you and your brothers and your mum.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, go on.
After a couple of years, I came to settle in London with my mom and my younger brother. Then, sadly, in 1996, my mom passed away. At that time, I was only 24 years old.
Wow. So were you? Sorry. Were you married? Were you staying with your brother? What was happening in your life at that time?
Yeah, at that time, when the mom passed away, firstly, it took me really hard. It was a very hard time for me, and it took time to sink in. So, yes, I was married at that time, and I used to live in an extended family. Alhamdulillah, and I had my brother living practically down the road from me. So that was a plus point as well.
So what sort of helped you? What was your support system at that time when your mother passed away?
When my mother passed away, I had full support from the family and my brother. Like, we were talking, going out a lot, and meeting people, and supporting each other, going to Kabristan. So it was like a sukoon, especially when, like, my dad was buried in Mabasa, very far away, of course. My mom is just right here in Northwood, alhamdulillah. So we used to go every day regularly, and that really helps.
It helped to go to the Kabristan every single day.
Yeah, it feels as though like my mom is alive. She's right next to me, and I can talk to her in the graveyard. So that's really good, alhamdulillah. Yes. And so I got married here, and I am a mother of 3 kids. I have 2 grandchildren, and the third one is on the way in Toronto. Not here, but far away in Toronto. Okay. I have studied here and qualified in NPQ childcare. I was working in a Montessori school and had to quit my job due to my health issues. I was diagnosed in 2004 with my illness, and I will be sharing my journey today. In 2004, my life changed, and I'm going to discuss this just now. I was on my lunch break at work, and I noticed that I had no taste of food. I felt like I had a temperature and assumed it was just a flu. So I took it very lightly and just took paracetamols. Then after a couple of days, I could not feel any sensation when combing my hair. But again, I didn't take much notice of it. I just carried on with my normal daily routine. Then the following Sunday morning, I woke up and I couldn't walk. I just couldn't walk, as my foot was dragging. Now at that time, I was living with my extended family. So my sister-in-law, she managed to put me in the car, and we headed straight away to Norfolk Park Hospital. Barefoot, as sadly I just couldn't put any kind of any kind of shoe.
Can I ask you what was going through your mind at that time as you were being taken to the hospital and you couldn't move your feet, and what was actually going through your mind?
To be very honest, I was feeling so sad. I felt what was going on, and I was getting like blackouts. In fact, okay, what's happening? How come I can't walk? What's all this? So I
And
was
your
very,
husband? Where was your husband at this time?
yeah. At this time, first, I'm sorry, I was my husband was at work, so we
Okay.
phoned him and we told him to come to the hospital straight away to Norfolk Park. So immediately I went under various different tests, and the doctors kept me in for observations. I was feeling very nervous and anxious and getting all kind of thoughts. Like, was I going to be paralyzed? That was the first thought I had because I couldn't walk, you see, so it's very natural about it.
Yeah, of
So at this
course.
time, my youngest child, Suhail, was only 6 years old. Yeah.
So you had how many children by then?
Yeah, I had three children. My eldest daughter was 13 years old, followed by my second daughter. She was 9. And Suhail was my son. He was just 6 at that time.
And they were all at home with your extended family.
Yes, yes, they were. Yeah, Alhamdulillah. So whilst I was at the hospital, there were no signs of improvement. In fact, I was deteriorating. I had no sensations in my body at all. For me, at that time, I felt I was entering a dark tunnel with no rays of light, and I felt very helpless. I had no clue, very helpless, very sad. That's the
What
thought.
what what was going through your mind? I mean, like, were you praying? Were you blaming God? What was actually going through your mind at that time in relationship to God?
I was very puzzled. I said, "Why has this happened to me suddenly? From nowhere. I mean, why suddenly me?" And then the thing is, the first thought was that how will I continue my married life? Because
Wow.
I was married at that time. So I said, how will I continue this life being married and look
So
after my two children?
you were
So,
married for how long by then?
yeah, sorry,
You were married for how long by then?
I was 19 when I got married, and I've got MS. It's 16 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, and so Suhel, this last son, Suhel, he was 6 years old. You see,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So and then I kept feeling very helpless. I was feeling very helpless and puzzled as well. What's happening? So, anyway, after 7 days of hospitalization and many, many tests, I was finally diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I was both speechless and shocked as I had never heard of this illness before in my entire life. You know?
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow.
So, I asked, what is multiple sclerosis? We don't know it at all, not heard of it.
And you were
Yeah.
totally healthy before that. No signs of anything at all before that.
No, no sense of anything, just those symptoms which I had. And I was
Yeah.
thinking it's a normal temperature or so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you see?
I'm just trying to just imagine what it must have been like for those 7 days that you were in hospital, not knowing what was going on. What were the conversations with your husband that you were having? Because you said you were worried about your marriage, your children. What sort of conversations were you having with your husband at that time?
Yeah, I kept on telling my husband, now what shall I do? What will happen? What will happen next? What if I'm paralyzed? What if I don't get up? If I'm not well? What will happen? Where will I go? I came to that stage, you see.
And
So,
what was his response?
sorry?
What was his response?
His response was always very positive, I must say. He said, don't you have the trust in God? Allah is there. He is there. He will guide you and He will guide me. So I said, okay, Alhamdulillah. So I would keep my heart at ease. But that would be again do for temporary because I didn't know what's going to happen further on. So I was still very unsure.
So did it make it a little bit easier once you knew what was wrong? Did that help, or did it make it worse, or how did it feel once you knew what was wrong? Once they decided, okay, this is what's wrong with you.
Yeah, once it was decided what's wrong with me, but still I wasn't too sure, you know.
Hmm.
Yes, I was not very sure yet. So I was saying, Alhamdulillah, let's see what happens. Allah is great.
Okay, so you said you didn't know anything about multiple sclerosis at that time. So I assume you went and started researching about it or reading about it, or how?
Yes, I tried to read about it, and my husband was helping me and explaining to me as well.
And then how did you explain all of this to your children?
I didn't have the courage to explain to them. I'll be very honest here. So my husband took over the role and taught them to take each day as it comes and pray to Allah that mom gets better. So they understood that. And I needed to take some rest. So he told the kids, mom needs to take more rest more often. And she wouldn't be able to play and help them as much. So the doctors explained what MS is, and my symptoms continued to get worse. So I was given a few day course of steroids through IV. I remember I was alone in the hospital crying and asking Allah what has happened to me and why. Why me? That question kept coming every now and then. Why me? From
So,
nowhere.
so you were actually sitting there talking to God. Were you talking to Him like actually with your voice, or were you talking to Him in your mind? How was that?
To be very honest, in the hospital I was alone in the evening, I mean at night time. I would talk to him with my voice. I
Okay,
felt as if he's listening, he can hear me.
that
Because
was
I
going to be my
know
next question. My next question was actually going to be, did you feel He was listening to you?
yeah, I felt he's listening to me. Definitely, yes. Yes,
What
because
sort of answers were you getting from Him? What did you feel you were getting some answers?
yes, I was getting some answers at that time because I noticed I started to get more confidence slowly by slowly.
Okay.
So then I decided that I will not hide my illness from anybody. As I believed I did prayers and Allah can answer anybody's prayers. So why hide? You see?
So, sorry, I just want to stop here because I think generally we tend to, within our community anyway, people tend to
Yeah.
hide their illnesses or hide anything that's going wrong, even something which is good. So, for example, when someone gets pregnant, for the first
Yeah,
3 months, they don't tell people because it's like, what if it, you miscarry, or what if this, what if that? And you've actually done the exact opposite. You wanted to let everyone know that you
exactly.
were ill,
Yeah, definitely, yes.
and
The
the
thing,
reason for that was.
yeah, the reason I would say is because most people are quite private and would not like to share. But my advice is do not fear, do not be scared. Duas are the most powerful weapon, and that's how I survived. So dua and dawa is very important. Both I would balance it equally, you know. And
So you honestly,
alhamdulillah.
so you think it's really important to tell people if you can,
Yes,
because other people's
yes,
du'as may be accepted and yours, so it's
yes,
worth taking that chance if you
yes.
can.
And that decision I made by myself alone when my husband had gone home from the hospital back home. And I said to Allah, I will tell everybody. I will not hide. And I followed that, alhamdulillah. Till today, in fact, you know.
Okay, I just want to ask. Okay, so you got the du'as obviously, because when people hear that someone's ill, they will pray for them. But did you get a lot of did you get lots of people phoning? Did you get lots of people sort of inquiring, sort of asking you lots of questions? Did you feel like it was a bit too much at any point? Did you feel like people were intruding into your life, wanting to know more?
The people were phoning. Yes, they were phoning my husband, my in-laws, my
Mhm.
brother, everybody. You see, but I was so free. I just wanted to tell them. I was eager to get well. I was very eager that I don't want everything wants to be all okay. So I was not. It didn't really bother me at all. So I was
Did
prepared to answer the calls, and I told my husband, "Yeah, tell them what's wrong. Anybody's dua will work." So that was the
you,
point ahead.
you didn't mind sharing the information, even though at no point was there where you felt like, I wish people would stop asking, and I wish they would just stop calling. I wish they'd just pray for me and just leave it at that.
No, never. I'll be so honest with you, never. Alhamdulillah, touch wood, never. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, do you want to
So
go on?
sure. Now there is no cure for MS. And there are over 130,000 people with MS in UK. Inshallah, with Allah's will, one day there will be a cure. Now, MS is a condition affecting the central nervous system. And now in MS, the immune system, it attacks the protective coating that surrounds the nerve fibers called the myelin sheath. As well as having a protective function, this helps messages to be sent more quickly along the nerves. This leads to symptoms of MS leading to a relapse. Now, the most common symptoms are fatigue, vision problems, numbness, tingling, muscle spasm, pain, immobility problems, problems with thinking and learning, depression, and anxiety. I have experienced all the above in my long journey. There are different types of illness, and mine comes under relapsing and remitting. This means they flare up aggressively, known as a relapse, and recover gradually over time, meaning remission.
Okay, sorry, I'm just going to stop you here for a minute. So you have these episodes which are called relapses, where you will have specific symptoms, which can be quite aggressive.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel when you go through these relapses? How often do they happen? How does it make you feel? Is it different each time? Just talk me through a little bit about it.
Sure. Firstly, when the relapse is coming, I would feel very, very weak and emotional, which is normal. Because I was very new here, you see, with this illness. I was feeling very emotional, and yes, and I would think, I hope the symptoms are not again new or not different, and I would wonder what symptoms will there be this time, and how will the relapse happen, and how will I overcome it? You see. So I have to again, I will think a lot. Okay, what will the next relapse be like? Will I be able to take it? Will I be able to fight it? So all those questions.
Okay, so during these relapses, what was your relationship with God like? How did it make your relationship stronger, weaker? Did you get annoyed, complain to Him? What was going on at that time?
At times I would feel so sad that where is Allah? If Allah is here, then why me? Why be from nowhere? You know, I've got little kids, no mom, no dad. Why me? But Alhamdulillah, you know. So actually, I would take it calm, and I wouldn't say that Allah. I wouldn't be cross with Allah, and then I would pray. I would pray to Him and ask Allah, please Allah help me, please help me each time. You are there to listen to my duas. I am one of the orphan. You will listen to me. You won't reject my duas. That's what I would say.
MashaAllah. Yeah. Did you complain to Him, or did you complain to others when you were going through relapses? How did that work? You obviously need to take it out. There's a lot of things inside you, I'm sure, and you need to sort of talk it through with someone. How did you manage? Who did you talk to? Did you talk to God? Did you talk to your family?
Yeah, I did talk to the God, and I would talk to my family, of course. Yeah, I would talk to them.
How did you find that your family took the relapses? Because it must have been difficult for them to watch you go through that as well.
It was difficult for them, very, very difficult for them. But they would not show it out to me that it's very difficult for them. You see, but otherwise they knew my nature. Then I would feel reluctant to tell them what's happening to me. So my family were welcome, and they knew how to handle it. And most importantly, they boosted my confidence, and they prayed for me to get better. So yeah, my heart would feel at ease that my family is here for me.
So they were literally just being really, really strong for you, and being there for you, and sort of calming you when you felt a little bit, upset and things like that.
Definitely, yes, 100%. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Amazing to have family and people around to support. It really helps, right?
I know, it does. Alhamdulillah. Trust me, yes, it does. Now, the relapses are treated with a course of steroids, but gradually the symptoms are under control. So now, 4 months after diagnosis, I got another severe episode. I think this was one of the really worst one. This time, my vision was affected. I was unable to see colors, and everything was different shapes and blurry. I had lost my balance again, and worst of all, my bladder was affected. This symptom has lasted till today. So from Norfolk Park Hospital, I was referred to the National Neurology Hospital in Queen Square. Allah sent me an angel in the form of a consultant, Dr. Kapoor. My
Okay, so
progress to where I am today was due to him, definitely due to meeting him.
okay, so I'm going to just go back a little bit. So you said you had a really severe relapse 4 months after the diagnosis,
Yeah.
where
Mhm.
your vision was affected and your colors and things like that. Your
Yeah.
seeing was affected.
Yeah.
You said up to now that's still there as well to a certain extent.
Alhamdulillah, that is not still here. But
Sorry.
I get these days one off, like I get a very severe pain behind my eye,
Okay.
extremely sharp pain. It lasts for a couple of minutes, and then
Mhm.
Alhamdulillah, it settles itself. But these are one of the symptoms. As I told you, this is a live illness, yeah? This illness, so the symptoms are still there.
So you mentioned this Dr. Kapoor that you called him an angel. Why
Yeah.
specifically was he your angel?
Okay, I must say that God sends us help through different forms of people.
Hmm.
I believe he sent Dr. Kapoor in that form, different form, who was one of the neurologists he was the top to be referred to. And Alhamdulillah, I was the lucky one, I was under his care. I remember there was a time where I couldn't cut any vegetables or slice any bread. I couldn't even read books to my little son or dress him and do his buttons. Forget that, I couldn't cut my own nails. I couldn't dress up. Overall, I felt like I was a cabbage. I had to quit my job as a Montessori teacher and couldn't even hold a pen to write. I was in such a state at that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So again, I'm sorry. I know I keep asking you the same questions, but I think it would be really, really powerful for us to sort of understand how you were getting through this, because obviously it's something that you weren't expecting, something that's happened, and you're trying to deal with it, and then every so often it would get worse, and not being able to do the most basic things must
Yeah.
be so difficult. And I'm just trying to think, how did you hold on to your faith? How did you not blame God? How did you not get angry with God? How did you okay it in your mind? It's like, what were the conversations you were having at home with God, with your husband, with your children? Just trying to sort of understand how it could have been. I mean, not having been in that sort of situation, I'm just trying to understand what you must have been going through.
A lot was going with my little brain at that time because I was feeling, yeah, Allah, now what to do? What's next? I just didn't know how to take the step further. But then I would, the good point, the thing is, at the hospital, they had given me the telephone number of the MS nurses also. So I would also talk with them, and they would they would support me. At the same time, I would read Quran, and then I would see other people's are even worse. They have got worse illnesses than me. Then I would just do shukr to my Allah, and then but still praying to Him that please make me better. Please make me better. A little bit of better would count. That was all going on in my mind at that stage.
So there's a lot of things that obviously were helping you. One was the support from not only your family, but from people who knew about the illnesses. So the
Yeah,
nurses who knew about MS and everything, and they could actually support you through it as well.
yeah.
Obviously, you keep mentioning how important the family was there for you as well.
Mhm.
And you mentioned Quran. That sort of helped you calm down a little bit and help you
Yes,
connect to Allah
right.
and talking to Allah.
Yeah, about then talking to Allah. And the good thing was, as I told the people, the outsiders, they would send me the recited water of
Mm.
surah in it, and they would, all come and with little prayers. They would tell me, read this, read that, and they would comfort me, and they would say that things will go better. So that helped by telling people as
Okay, so
well.
the fact that you knew people were praying because they were sending you like
Uh-huh.
your water
Yeah.
with things recited on it. Okay, one of the things that I've heard from people is that
Mhm.
sometimes people will um, phone family members or yourself and say, oh, recite this, this really works, or this is really powerful, recite this, do this, Amal, do this. And sometimes it feels a bit daunting, because you feel like there's so much you're supposed, you've been told to do, but you don't know which one to do, and you don't have the energy or the time to do all of those. Did you ever feel like that, or did you just recite everything that you were told to recite, or did you just pick and choose, or did you just talk to God? What worked for you?
I would talk to God, because at that time, as I told you, my hands, my whole self, I couldn't really do a lot like recite or what, because I was in the pain. So on behalf of me, my family was reciting for me. My mother-in-law, my husband, my sister who is in Kenya, she would tell her friends, anybody going for pilgrimage, please recite for my sister, or please recite for our daughter-in-law, or for our daughter, and they were reciting for me. So I would just talk to my Lord and listen to du'as, actually, because I had no strength to actually recite myself. You see, but I was talking to Allah. That's all, yeah.
So you were just constantly in conversation with God, sort of trying to
yes.
get answers from Him, telling Him how you felt, and then everyone else was trying to do whatever they could for you. Do you think it was those du'as that helped you?
Definitely, yes, definitely, it did. Yeah, and I was feeling so happy that there are so many people around who really love me and are praying for me. And at the same time, I'm talking to my Lord. He's there to listen.
I think that's the beauty of being in a community, right? It's like I think when something like this happens, major in your life, everyone in the community just comes together, and it's like, even if they don't know you, just because you're part of the community, I think they feel that connection with you, and it's like they really pray.
Yes. So we are actually blessed to have such a beautiful community who are always for each other. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So you talked about this Dr. Kapoor who came to your aid, and you were transferred to him. Then what happened in that journey?
Yes, Alhamdulillah. I was told there is a long-term treatment to reduce the relapses. By saying that, I said, "Oh my Lord, we have some beautiful answers here." I told Allah, "Thank you."
Alhamdulillah.
And I told him, "Mashallah, shukr. There is hope, and I believed in myself."
Okay, what does that mean, that you believed in yourself? What do you mean by that phrase?
Sure. I believe that Allah only gives us what we can handle. And I knew as well as giving me the illness, He would give me the ability to overcome it. You see, and because He is there, He's given the illness, and He will give me that power that I can cope with the illness.
Did you? So I think there's two things that you've said here, which is quite powerful. One is that God doesn't give you what you can't handle. So that the fact that He's given you the illness, you will be able to handle it.
Yes.
And the second thing that you said was that He would be there for you. He would give you the strength to be able to go through it. Cope with it. At any point, did you when you got this illness, throughout the illness, did you feel like it was? Did you feel like there's lots of reasons we get illnesses? I'm just trying to think what was going through your mind. Did you feel it was a test? Did you feel that God was punishing you? Did you feel that you'd done something wrong? Did you feel like God was just trying to bring you close? What was going through your head when you got this illness and this diagnosis? Especially because it wasn't something that was going to go away. It was something that was, like you're saying, a lifelong illness now.
Yeah. I thought that Allah is testing me for this. And sorry, could you repeat the question, the other half of the question, if you don't mind?
Did you feel that it was a punishment from Allah at all, or did you feel like, no, it was a test to bring you closer to Him? Or did you feel like, I'm so strong and God knows how strong I am, so now He's trying to show me how strong I am by giving me something so that I know I can cope with this? Did you feel that?
I personally thought Allah is testing me. This is not a punishment. No.
Perfect.
Because Allah is testing me.
Alhamdulillah. I think that positive way of looking at things is one of the things that really helps us to get through these life situations. I think when we start looking at it negatively, then we start going in a downward spiral. So I think that must have really helped you.
Yep.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So so you did shukr and you believed in yourself.
Yes. So at the same time, throughout my journey, I had the full support of my family. I used to speak to Allah and tell Him, "You gave me this illness and you can help me live and deal with it." From then, I got a positive mindset and said, "I will fight this illness. I will not lose the hope, I will fight it."
MashaAllah. That's amazing. So so I assume, so you talked about a positive mindset. So was that just to do with you coming to the realization that this illness was from God and therefore He wouldn't give you anything that you couldn't handle? It was a test to bring you closer to Him. What are those the things that brought a positive mindset, or was there something else?
Yeah, the positive mindset also came when I found out that there is long-term treatment.
Okay.
And at the same time, I said that means Allah has started to listen to my prayers. Otherwise, there was no such long-term treatment to help with the relaxings. So that I believe that there is progress has started to act in my journey. And as well, there was a lot of encouragement from the family, from the people, from some friends, from everywhere, and the prayers. So basically, the encouragement and prayers were bringing me up gradually.
Can I ask you something? So I have this this theory that the positive mindset really helps, and I think what we say to others either helps them to get a positive mindset, or it makes them feel sorry for themselves. So I'll give you a simple example. When someone close to you passes away, now most people will come and say to you, I'm really sorry for your loss. Try to have sabr. Inshallah, God will give you sabr. That's what we normally hear from people. Inshallah, Allah will give you sabr to be able to cope with this, right? I feel we should say something like, I'm really sorry for your loss. Hold on to the sabr that Allah has given you, because to me, that's showing the person that they already have the tools. God's already given them the tools. They just need to use them, rather than when you tell them, Inshallah, Allah will give you sabr, you're still waiting for that sabr to come. Whereas Allah doesn't give you anything until He's given you the tools first.
Yes.
True. Do you think something like that would really help in your, if someone had come up to you and said to you, God's given you so much sabr to be able to just use that sabr that God's given you, would that have helped you? Or
yes, it would have, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Then my husband kept an oath that once I am on remission, he will take me to do the ziyarat of Bibi Zainab alayhi salam. So in 2006, Alhamdulillah, the whole family, we all went for ziyarat of Bibi Zainab alayhi salam.
MashaAllah. Why Bibi Zainab alayhi salam? Why not any of the other 14 Masumeen?
Okay. This is because my husband believed through Bibi Zainab, as he went for Hajj, and while he went for Hajj, his trip was covered for 3 days in Sham. So when he went Sham at the Zari, and he said, I want my wife to get better, and I will bring her as soon as possible. Please make her better. So then he had in his head, in his brain, that I'll bring my wife to Bibi Zainab first, and then to other ziyarats.
MashaAllah. I'm going to ask you here. So while you were ill, your husband left you and went to Hajj. How did that feel? What was going through your head when he decided to go to Hajj and leave you while you were ill? Because a lot of wives would turn around and say to their husband, no, you know what? I'm your responsibility. You need to be here. You need to be taking care of me. Hajj is wajib, but you can wait till next year. First of all, did you have a conversation whether he should go or not? Did he decide? Did you decide together? What made you and him decide, or him decide?
Actually,
if you want to share.
Yeah, I will share. Let me just remember. My brain is a bit slow,
No.
No, now I remember. Yeah, my husband, and he was going to go with his brother, right? His elder
Mhm,
brother.
mhm,
So now he said, "Let's we will cancel the trip and we don't go.
mhm,
I'm not going. I'm not going to leave you behind, and I will not go Hajj. I'll cancel it, and some other time we'll go."
mhm.
So then again, I said to myself, "Oh my God, no, that's not right. He's going to the house of Allah. He's going into the house of Allah, live, direct connection. Why be so mean and selfish and let him stay at home and just look after me?" And on the other hand, I had my family's full support. My in-laws and my dear brother, his wife, you see, they were all very close with me. And I said, "No, you go. I'm really giving you the permission. And inshallah, it will be fine. And if there is anything wrong, I will call you back." I just said like this, but I'm sure I wouldn't have called him back. To keep him happy, okay, he should go and do his Hajj. So, Alhamdulillah,
Mashallah.
both the brothers went, and over there he met the oath. And
Ma-
that's it. Yeah.
Mashallah. That's amazing. That really shows that how much faith you have, and you know
Yeah.
that sort of faith in Allah, that it's like Him who's taking care of you, not the people around you, but Him. And if He decides to take your
Yeah.
husband to Hajj, He's not going to abandon you. He'll send someone else, like you're saying, your extended family, your brother, his wife, and so forth, there to help
Yeah.
you. That's amazing. And through that, He thought of taking you to Bibi Zainab alayhi salam, so you got the ziyarat of Bibi Zainab alayhi salam as well. Because if He hadn't gone to Hajj, maybe He wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and I
Like,
remember he went with Mustafa by Jaffer for Hajj. And inshallah, I pray that he gets well soon,
inshallah,
as soon as possible.
inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah. So, and then they came back from Hajj, and that's it. Yeah.
And then you
So,
went as a whole family to Bibi Zainab alayhi salam. How was that? You were obviously going through remission at that time, so you were feeling a little bit better, but you must still have been quite weak.
yes, I
Um,
was quite weak. So I was on the wheelchair
mhm,
uh, everywhere in Sham with the wheelchair. And my husband, my sister-in-law, they would really actually support me. And
mashallah.
they tied me with the zari for good hours. And Alhamdulillah, it was working out.
So
And it
did
was,
you feel it? How did you feel any different after the ziyarat to when before you went to the ziyarat to when you came back? Was there any difference in the way you felt, whether it's mentally or emotionally or physically? Was there any difference?
yes, definitely there was. I felt a connection there, and I got peace. I really got peace in my heart. I was feeling better slowly, one little step at a time. So I was getting so good peace in my heart. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah,
Yeah.
alhamdulillah.
So then, after experiencing 6 episodes of relapses in a year, I finally qualified to start on the injection. And after many discussions, we decided to take Rebif. Until today, I take 3 times a week. I used to be scared to inject myself. So my 13-year-old daughter used to inject me, and at times my husband.
Wow. So
Yeah.
at the age of 13, your daughter was giving you the injections.
Mhm.
That's huge. Um,
That's very huge, yeah.
did
And
she did she
so,
talk about how it made her feel? Did you have those conversations? Did you how did you feel, with your daughter when your daughter was injecting you? Were there any conversations there at all that were happening?
slowly and gradually, at time she was too young at that time. She wouldn't tell me like she wouldn't say much anything. But she was her hands were soft, I must say. And my husband said I was feeling comfortable with my daughter more. You see, I said, "No, I want Zara to inject me. I'm scared of you. You will just poke it for me." So I was said, "No, I want Zara to inject me." Oh my God. But anyway, so Zara was injecting and my husband as well. And Zara, I noticed that she matured very quickly at the time. Yeah. And my
I'm
husband even
sure.
he showed her the technique how to inject. And then she wanted to, yes. And I was taking manually the injections. And yes, Alhamdulillah, she was doing it for me.
I suppose in a way it was her being part of the journey as well, and helping her mother, because she knew this was a treatment that you needed. So it
Yeah.
empowered her as a child as well. Like, I can do something to help my mother here, which
Yeah.
is quite powerful as well.
That's right. Alhamdulillah. Because I know, yeah. And I noticed that she matured quite quickly. And she also took the role of looking after the siblings. Yeah. So,
Okay.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, because the two were quite young. So, Zara was there for them. Alhamdulillah.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you ever have you ever sort of Zara is how old now?
Oh, Zara is, how old is she? 28.
Okay. Have you ever sort of sat down with her and sort of talked about what it was like for her, or has she, because she's got kids now, right?
Yes, she has.
Yeah.
So
So
I remember at that time, Zara wouldn't talk a lot, anything. She was quite young. But today, she herself tells me it has taught her a lot and has made her a stronger woman. So, and then she tells me, no, this was a plus point over there. God has given you this illness, but there are other reasons as well behind, you see?
yeah, no, for sure. I think as parents we try to sort of shelter our children, and we try to sort of keep them in this bubble where they don't see anything or don't hear anything. We hide things from them, and I think sometimes there's a lot of things that they can learn from it as well. So like she was saying, it made her a lot stronger because she realized what she was able to do. And as I said, I think being part of the treatment must have made her feel a little bit more empowered as well. So I think there is a lot to be said in involving our children in whatever's happening in our life, especially if it's going to be something that's long term. If it's something that's short term, then maybe we can sit there and say, okay, you know what, I don't want to put that on them. But if it's something that's long term, then I think we need to sort of let them be part of that journey as well.
Yes, you're
again,
very right.
God will give them the tools as well, just like He's given us the tools. And there's a lot of growth in it.
I absolutely agree on that. Yeah, it's so right.
And it's nice that she can actually see that the positives in everything that she went through. That's beautiful. And I think again that's the way you guys have brought her up. So it's not only have you learned that positive attitude, but you've also taught it to your children, which is beautiful.
Yeah. And so every 6 months I must take blood tests with satisfactory results to be able to continue getting the rebif injections. And I also have yearly checkups at the hospitals to monitor my progress. I thank my Lord enormously that this treatment is soothing me well and my relapses have decreased. The doctors also prescribed gabapentin tablets for my nerve pain, and amitriptyline, which is an antidepressant. As I said earlier, I cannot empty my bladder naturally, so I also have to use catheters till today to empty my bladder. And I was also advised to join yoga to support my muscles and to motivate me, and meditation to calm my mind.
Did you join a yoga, and where did you find this yoga or meditation? Did you do it, or how did you find out about these things? And because obviously it's not something that we're that aware of. So
Actually, Alhamdulillah, yes, I did. I found out that there are yoga classes held every Monday at our mosque. So that was a very good plus point for me. Yeah.
Did it help that you were doing it in the mosque with the people you knew, or?
Yes, it helped very much. It helped very much. We could talk to each other, and I felt very good. Plus, it really helped me with the stiffness in my body. So that was a very big plus point for me to join yoga.
So I think the learning here would be, as a community, we should try to have lots and lots of different things, so that if anyone's in any situation where they need something, the community can provide it, inshallah.
Our community is there, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. And the meditation, for me, whenever anyone talks about meditation, I think I automatically think of salah, because salah should be is a form of meditation if we do it properly. Do you find that?
Yes, I do. To be very honest, that gives me peace in my mind. Obviously, salah comes first. It gives peace to one. Yes, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, and then, I must say this. I've always had a lot of yaqeen and faith towards Dua Yastashir, which my cousin in Kenya, she lives in Kenya, she recommended me to start. I believe this is a living miracle which has helped me throughout, and I recite it daily, alhamdulillah. I must say that.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a little bit of questions on this dua because it seems that you really connect to this dua. Do you recite it in Arabic or English?
To be honest, in Arabic sometimes and sometimes in English. I use both. It depends how I'm feeling. Now, again, when I'm feeling very low, very tired, then English would be easier. So I will just read it in English. And then sometimes I would read in Arabic. So I use the both languages
Do you
for
feel
that.
that it helps when because you know what you're actually reciting rather than just reciting the Arabic and not knowing what you're saying? Does it help by knowing what you're asking Allah?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So is there anything specific in this dua that you actually really connect to?
Actually, I will give you a bit more information in this dua, what I know from
Sure.
my knowledge. Now,
Sure.
dua
Bismillah.
Yusuf was taught by Imam Ali alayhi salam to the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. This dua is a very powerful dua, and I get inner peace when I recite. And I feel like I'm talking directly to my Lord. You see, and also I connect where it says Allah is the creator, He is the master, He is the provider, He is the giver, the merciful, and the healer. Also, whoever recites this dua before bedtime and passes away during the night, his status is of a martyr or shaheed. So, what more do you want from that? So, these dua are the best. I suggest everyone should recite these duas.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, so this dua was actually, it was taught to Imam Ali alayhi salam by the Holy Prophet.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's a very, very powerful dua. I mean, specifically for you, you found it very, very powerful.
Definitely. Yes.
I think this dua has a lot in it. I think one of the lines that I really like in it is where you sort of say, to God that I'm lodging my complaint to you. So it's like whatever I complain I have in my heart, whatever's
Yeah.
upsetting me, I'm giving it to you. I'm telling you my
Yes,
complaint,
absolutely.
and that he, he's present, he's listening, he's hearing it, and he's the one who's going to expel all the sorrows from myself. So for me, I think when I recite something like Dua Yastashira,
Yeah.
it really makes you think like, you know what, I don't have to hold back. I can complain, and because I'm complaining to God, I can complain to my heart's content, get
You're right.
all the negativity out, and at the end of it, you just feel so calm because you've let it all out and you've given it to someone who can
Yeah,
do something with it. Yeah,
exactly.
I
Alhamdulillah.
see exactly where you're coming from, and I think it is a very beautiful dua, and also one of my favorite munajats is the munajat of Imam Ali alayhi salam that we recite, and we only recite it once a year, but it's such a
I
beautiful
know.
munajat.
Yes.
This dua has that concept of that you are you are the creator, I am the created, you are the provider and I'm needy, just like that munajat has. So it
Yes,
reminds
it is.
me of that munajat as well, which is beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I really see why you connect to this dua. It is a very, very, very powerful dua, and it is beautiful. I think knowing what you're asking Allah for is really, really powerful. It's like knowing what the dua is saying. The words that Imam uses in the dua, it's or the Holy Prophet uses to teach Imam Ali alayhi salam are really, really powerful. I think sometimes we get so caught up in just recitation and we just recite it like a tick box and we don't really get much out of it. So I think it's beautiful that you're not just reciting it, but you're actually sort of connecting to the dua.
Yeah, yeah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. What sort of actions do you feel that come out of that dua? Because obviously every dua is a step towards action. So what actions do you think come out of the dua when you recite it for you yourself?
In this dua, I ask and I beg Allah to help me. Ease my pain, ease my MS, look after my family, and listen to everybody's hajats. You are the great. Don't listen to just me. First to the others, and then comes me. So inshallah, alhamdulillah. Yeah.
I suppose in a way the action points would be to think of others who are maybe worse off
Yeah.
than you
Yeah.
and sort of remember them in your dua so that hopefully other people are remembering you.
Mhm.
And also that positive mindset that's coming across in this conversation. I think, honestly,
Yeah.
I think that's probably the action from the dua that you're taking away. Alhamdulillah.
That's right. So now this MS is a live illness. I try to avoid stress and keep away from heat to avoid the symptoms or relapses. But there are days where my fatigue triggers and I feel very weak and cannot do much at home. I must say, I have full support of my husband. He helps me with the housework and he can also cook beautiful, delicious food. One day I will send you some food when he cooks.
MashaAllah. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Alhamdulillah. And
Did
then
he
he
know how
does.
to, sorry, did he know how to cook before you got the illness, or did he learn after you got ill?
Mainly after, I must say. But he was always had an interest, but after, after, I must say. And
Alhamdulillah, he's really stepped up. He's
yeah,
really been there for you and supported you.
Alhamdulillah, I swear you're right. Yes.
So again, there's a lot of learning from that. In like, it's not just you who's grown from this illness, but your children, your husband, everyone around you has grown from this illness.
Yeah. And he also does the grocery, especially because when I can't lift anything heavy. But when there's something light to lift, then I'll take out my two little hands and so it doesn't feel that I'm not doing anything. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And so for all this, actually, I pray Allah gives him a long, healthy life,
Ameen, Ameen. He deserves it. That's beautiful. I think, did you ever feel guilty because of what your family was going through because of your illness? Did that ever cross your mind, or did you because I know some people do. Some people feel like, I'm putting my family through so much when it's not even their fault. It's not your fault you got the illness. But did you ever feel like that?
No, actually, in the beginning, I was feeling that. Then gradually, then I was fine with it. Yes.
Did you have a conversation with your husband about how he, how the illness was going to affect your marriage, the parenting, or did it just happen seamlessly?
Okay, I will be very honest over here. Yes, actually, we also talk about about this illness together, and we always thankful, Alhamdulillah, for the improvements. And the illness is like they come and it can come to anybody. Yes, and we support each other, others help, and we get through it. As it says in marriage, there's this one beautiful vows. He reminds me very often. It says in sickness and in health.
MashaAllah.
In sickness and in health, and that means actually we promised each other, okay, I will stand for you and you will stand up for me, whether you are sick or whether you are in health.
I think that's beautiful, because again, you didn't do anything to bring this illness on, so why would you feel guilty about it? It's not something that you've asked for. It's not something that you've done. And if the tables were turned, would you not stand by him? If he, God forbid, got the illness, you would have stood by him. So why can't he stand by him? And I think that's what a marriage is about. It's about being there for the other person, knowing that God has put you together to support each other, to grow together towards Him, inshallah.
Inshallah. So so after my diagnosis, I became more closer to Allah and had a greater belief that He will guide me through this and He will help me be part of my children growing up.
MashaAllah.
So I have faith in Allah, you see. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So you've at any point in this journey, did you feel that God was being unjust to you?
To be honest, I said we are all tested in our lives in different ways. Everyone has their own trials and hardships, and this is my test from Allah. So I will accept it. It's just a test, in this world.
And it's not forever. It's going to end, and you've got something so beautiful out of it. When you the fact that you've grown closer to Allah is amazing. So I suppose it's about sort of seeing the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
It's like when Bibi Zainab alayhi salam says, "I saw nothing but beauty." She was looking at the bigger picture, not what was happening at that moment, but the bigger picture. And you seem to be doing the same thing, looking at the bigger picture. MashaAllah, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Alhamdulillah.
So if I was to ask you here, what advice would you give to people? What 3 things would you want people to go away with from this talk?
Okay, from my experience in this journey of my MS, I advise you all to always have strong faith in Allah, be positive, and don't lose hope. This applies to any illness you may be dealing with, not just MS.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm just going to repeat that so that people remember it. So strong faith. So no, what does that strong faith mean? What does that mean to you? If you were to explain it to someone in practical terms, what would you say? What does it mean to have strong faith?
I would say keep a strong faith in Allah because He has given the illness and He will take it. But He will take it. You pray, He will listen. You ask, He will listen, you'll get the answers. And keep strong faith in Allah. He's there to listen.
Brilliant. So knowing that, I suppose, knowing that He's in control, knowing that He's the one who's in control, He's given you the illness, He'll take it away. I suppose, in a way, knowing that what's happening to you is for your best, for your growth, for you to get closer to Him.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. So I suppose that leads on to the second point, which was having a positive attitude. Again, give me some practical ways that you have this positive attitude. What is it that helps you have this positive attitude? Is there something you tell yourself? Is there something that you remind yourself? What is it that helps you have this positive attitude?
Positive attitude, I would say, for example, yes, pray to Allah, be positive, and like as I said, I couldn't do much before, and then with this medication, gradually I started improving, and I could do things even better, and I was being positive. Can you yes, be positive, do this more, do this for your children, and Alhamdulillah, it will help. Like I must say today, after my illness, after years, obviously after few years, I got my daughter got her married here,
Mashallah.
and then because at that time I couldn't even cut a sandwich for my children to make lunch for them. And now look, I'm so pleased and grateful to Allah. I got them married. One is here, and even my younger daughter, I got her married, and she's in Toronto. And Alhamdulillah, my son, he is grown up, and yeah, so there we go.
Inshallah, he'll get married soon as well.
I will come to you and tell you, find me a daughter-in-law for.
Inshallah. Well, we pronounced it on live now, so inshallah you'll get lots and lots.
Honestly. Yeah.
Again, I suppose being positive is looking at what you have rather than what you don't have, and being grateful for the things that you have. When you're able to do something, actually focusing on that, then focusing on what you can't do.
Exactly. Yes. And also I have a huge part of my grandchildren growing up, and without Allah's help, I would never be able to achieve any of these goals in my life. So Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. That's amazing, Nasrin. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's an amazing story, and honestly, I think you really have seen the light in the darkness. It's like, there's so many times where you could have just given up hope, you could have become very negative, you could have lost your faith, but yet you stood firm. You had the support of your family. You believed in the community, which I thank you for, because I think that's really, really powerful. And it brings about this concept of the ummah, which is what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be there, being together. So it's like, if I truly feel that you're my sister, then why would I hide things from you? I would tell you because I would want you to pray for me, and I would want you, and I would assume that you want the best for me. So I think that your stories really brought that out, where you've sort of reminded us how important other people's prayers are, and how important it is to bring other people into our lives as a support, whether it's through prayers, whether it's through talking, whether it's through just knowing that they're there. I think that's beautiful. You've given me a lot to think about. Thank you very, very much.
So I sincerely thank Allah, my family, our community, and the NHS that have supported me. So once again, thank you so much for having me here. And I wish you all the best to all the MS sufferers. And inshallah, by Allah's will, there will be a cure one day, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. We pray that there is. Inshallah, there will be a cure one day, inshallah. But again, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being so open, and thank you for answering all my questions. You've been amazing. The people have been sending comments. I don't know if you can see them on your screen, but people have been sending comments on comments on how amazing a person you are, how much they've learned from you. You know, how proud they are to have you as part of their family, as part of their community. So yeah, thank you.
It's all their du'as, I must say. It's all their du'as, you know. Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, God keep us all together so that we actually become an ummah ready for the coming of our Imam, inshallah. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us on Real Talk, inshallah. We will come again, be here again, same time, 8 o'clock next Sunday, inshallah, with another inspiring journey from another guest, which you will find out closer to the time who that is. Jazakallah khair. Thank you, Nasrin Bhai. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Masuma Bhai. Thanks once again, Masuma Bhai. Thank you.